Welcome to GeoBiz. Today we have with us Bryn Fosburgh, the Vice President of Trimble. Welcome, Bryn, to GeoBiz.
Thank you.
Geospatial industry has seen more and more consolidation over the years. What is driving this trend and how do you see this evolving?
In the last decade, geospatial business had been primarily concentrating on the professional services, being either surveying or GIS or photogrammetry, that then provided deliverables to specific industries like construction, whether it be heavy civil construction, which are roads, railways, airports, or in building construction or mining or specific industries. What we've seen is in this industry consolidation is how do we offer more solutions that are focused for those particular industries across the workflow. Because what we have found is by integrating across the workflow improves productivity and quality significantly in a specific industry segment. So what you're finding is geospatial is going from a horizontal based service to becoming very focused on vertical markets. And consolidation has been part of that process. Well, I think what happens is as you expand geospatial to touch more vertical markets or more industries, that grows the geospatial industry as a total market.
But then you have a lot of non-traditional players also and non-traditional markets also entering the core market, core industry.
So you are seeing non-traditional markets as well as players involved. That again just expands the market and offers more opportunity for those of us who are geospatial professionals and for those of us who want to offer solutions to geospatial professionals and people who need geospatial data. Look at something like, if you look at Google Earth opened up the ability for many people to use location-based services that hadn't used them in the past.
There is also a greater trend among the big geospatial players, the traditional biggies, who have been competitors earlier to collaborate and for solution. Like Trimble has been collaborating with Topcon, Faro in their fields where they have been rivals at one point of time.
I think all of us have a set of solutions we offer to a particular industry. That customer needs to be able to have integration of those solutions. Cooperation is needed because a customer may have brand XYZ for different solutions because they believe those are their best-in-class solutions. It's us as industry providers that must provide an integration across that workflow or continuum. That may have a Trimble solution, it may not have a Trimble solution. Hence, our ecosystems, whether it be from a Trimble perspective, Trimble Connect, or from others who offer similar collaboration services, we must have interoperability. Things like OGC in the past drove standards, or Building Smart on the building side have driven standards to allow interoperability. The tightest interoperability is for us as manufacturers to share APIs and provide that connectivity.
Do you think as the industry becomes more solution-centric, like till about 5, 7, 10 years back, there was a standalone product. Today you have a chain of solutions. So as it becomes more solution-centric, the focus is on more collaboration.
What's happened is, as the industry has become more focused on vertical markets or specific industries, collaboration is even more important. Because if you take, say, the mining industry, you need to go from planning, and from that planning stage you need to then go to the design, then you need to go to the mining of the ore and through the reclamation. Okay? Connectivity across that workflow, whether it be in mining, whether it be in construction, vertical construction or horizontal construction, that collaboration is where productivity is enhanced. If I can collaborate across those stakeholders, I can get visibility, I can get transparency, that really improves both the quality as well as the productivity. So it's the customer and the integration of the customer along the workflow that's driving the collaboration. And we as manufacturers have to continue to look at how do we make our solutions more connected.
again going back to the non-traditional players entering this market more and more, what do you think is driving this trend? I mean, how has location become suddenly so important?
I wouldn't say it's just location that's become important. What has happened is you're finding technologies that come from, say, the consumer world driving themselves into the professional world. In the past, the professional world spawned technologies that went out to the consumer world. You're now seeing actually almost a reverse. Example of that would be either Google Tango product, which is a mixed reality product, or Microsoft HoloLens. Okay, you know, in our particular case, in Trimble's particular case, we're looking at those technologies which are what we call mixed reality, which deal in the world from reality to virtual reality. These are mixed reality platforms that were developed either for the gaming industry or for other type of applications. We are now looking at how do I apply those today to the cadastre world, or how do I apply those to the mapping world, or to building construction or the heavy civil construction. So that's a really interesting change is, you know, as the new iPhone comes out or as the new Samsung comes out, it has this wealth of technology. How do we as manufacturers then apply that to our professional community to improve the way they do work? And you today, from a collaboration perspective, demand collaboration in your personal life. Whether I'm looking at a smartphone that allows me to collaborate on things like Facebook or Instagram or email, I have that collaboration. In the professional workplace, that same demand is needed and that same productivity is improved by having it.
So you're essentially saying it's the consumer market today which is setting a trend for the professional market?
What I'm saying is that consumer market, or that is becoming that non-traditional player. It's us who've been in this industry for many, many years, is how do we adapt that consumer technology and that consumer offering to be able to adapt that into a professional offering. That is an important aspect of the industry.
How would you say the user behavior has changed over the years?
You know, I would say the surveying industry was one of the first to adopt technology. Many people look at the surveying industry and say, is this a slow-moving technology? Here we're sitting at Intergeo. You know, the surveyors who have come to Intergeo over the years are some of the first to adopt things like GPS, GNSS, robotic total stations. So as an industry, you're finding the surveying industry want more and more technology to actually drive that productivity. They yearn for it. Other industries, whether it be in the construction world or mining or utilities, are still kind of taking a look at how can I utilize this technology and how can it be focused on the job I'm to do, meaning building a road or building a building. So depending on the industry, to answer your question, depends on how quick the penetration is. The surveying industry is very, very much looking at what is the next technology that will bring them that productivity change. In some industries, they're saying, how do I use technology that's been traditionally used in, say, the surveying industry out to the construction industry and help me on productivity?
Which among these user industries would you call like it has matured over the years, the most matured industry?
So there's both a geography part and as well as an industry part. You know, so if I look at, you know, North America, if I look at parts of Oceania being Australia, New Zealand, if I look at parts of Europe, things like GNSS, things like servo-driven total stations have seen widespread adoption in the surveying industry. In some areas, take India for example, there has been less adoption. And part of that is we as manufacturers need to make sure we have the right solution for that developing market. Right solution being the right user interface, make sure it's got the right service and support model, make sure it's at the right price. So If I look at just pure surveyors, in North America, in parts of Europe, and parts of Australia and New Zealand, you're actually seeing widespread adoption of many technologies. If I look in more developing regions, it's us as manufacturers providing the right user interface, the right service support model, and the right pricing structure for them to adopt, because I would say their adoption is quite low. Okay. Now if I look at something like construction, whether it be vertical construction or horizontal construction, again it follows a similar geographic model, but the penetration is still fairly low. Because really it's us communicating that advantage of, if I have a GPS-based system on my dozer or my excavator, how is that going to help me build a better road faster? How am I going to build a better road from a quality perspective? And so, our goal is, how do we improve upon that message for those particular markets?
In view of the Chinese slowdown, how do you see the industry shaping up, your demand shaping up?
Well, there's macroeconomic effects, whether it be China or elsewhere, that have impact, right? The advantage of our solutions is they provide a productivity advantage. Whether I have a lot of work or no work, I can improve my bottom line, right? I can improve my bottom line, or I can improve my margin by having technology products. So we really look at, how do I penetrate both in my existing markets through new technology or replacement technologies, but how do I go into new markets where the penetration is quite low? Yes, there are macroeconomic effects that impact those potential sales. However, the penetration is still quite low, that we should be able to get those technology in areas where maybe penetration levels are less than 30% or more.
How are you realigning your strategies in terms of the Chinese slowdown? Because I believe Trimble had a lot of exposure in the China market.
I still have a significant China team. I mean, we're very focused on localization within China. We have a very localization group within Xi'an that does some of the localization. So really strategically, we haven't had a change, right? I mean, from a macroeconomic perspective, we are still looking at, how do I define a workflow for a particular industry, and from that workflow, how do I present and provide a set of solutions? We talk about some of the major projects that we're working on. That maybe be one of the changes that we've done strategically, but that has nothing to do with macroeconomics. We are now looking at, how do we go to major projects, and it's one of the reasons we acquired a company called Geotechnologies, is how do we go to that major project and be their technology provider on that project, and how can they utilize technology, both Trimble technology and other technology, to actually improve the delivery of whatever project they're on. That is a key change, but that was driven more from the acquisition of Geotechnologies, macroeconomic issue. On the Trimble Connect, collaboration is absolutely key. In many industries, you're finding a very siloed or very federated work process. And there may be integration within that silo or federation, okay? But there's not integration across the workflow. What we have found is that productivity improves if you have integration across the workflow. So if you're the designer and I'm the contractor, if we have a seamless transfer of that design model to me as the contractor, that's going to improve productivity. It's also going to improve quality, because you're handing me that design in a way where I'm not interpreting things, or I'm not misinterpreting things. That is important. Ecosystem is important. And creating an ecosystem where all the stakeholders can participate is one of the biggest changes in the industry.
What is this single, if you had to name one user industry that you are banking on today, most upbeat about, what would you be?
We believe in our 5 franchise businesses. We believe in our agriculture business, we believe in our transportation and logistics.
If you had to pick one.
Picking 5. I think we're unique. I think we're unique as a company in that we provide a broad range of solutions. I think we provide the broadest range of solutions. We're unique in that our strength has been where the work is performed. Meaning we push dirt from one side of the road to the other. We know why that dirt is pushed from one side of the road to the other. Okay? We know why that seed is planted. Okay? That is a unique piece. Okay? We've now put then solutions around where that work is performed in the design or in the feasibility or in the irrigation or depending on the market. So breadth of solution is an important part, and breadth of industries is, I think, a strength of us. I mean, we have a very strong position in building construction, a very strong position in heavy civil construction, transportation, logistics, geospatial as an industry, and geospatial as a technology. Okay, geospatial as a technology provides us technologies that feed those other businesses. Geospatial as a business feeds professions like the GIS professional or the surveying professional, who are represented here at the Intergeo Forum. And then agriculture as industry. So to pick one, it doesn't make sense. We believe our diversity, our strength is through our diversity in solution type. Our diversity is in our strength across the workflow. And our diversity is we're in multiple industries where technology provides, and our technology provides significant productivity advantage and significant quality improvement.
Thank you, Bryn. Thank you very much.
Thank you.